Okay, so yesterday we got obliterated. I'll start off with the DXY. Look how irrelevant it is because it went down, but we got our asses kicked anyway. So I'm not going to spend any time on the DXY. It was just to show you how the correlation is very weak because on the way up, on the way down, we've seen the correlation just not work. So it's been good and more good than bad, actually, the fact that they're not correlated. Yields, I'll also ignore for the same reason. Let's get straight to gold and silver because it was specific to gold and silver. There was no, it wasn't like the market was moving and therefore the miners went. It was specific to gold and silver. Gold, first of all, you're gonna hate it when I say it, but the uptrend doesn't is not broken. It's a bad candle, all right. It's like double top, absolute bearish engulfing, close near low of day. It should test. It should go lower next week straight away. Monday, may this is your first support. I'm just freestyling this now off the top of my head. So for me, first support would be, let's imagine the candle starts there, probably 28.40, something like that. It depends how low we go. But really, it's going to be at least a retest of this because you've got a retest breakout, right? It's pretty significant breakout. We've been in an uptrend for a long time. You get a candle like that, honestly, you should come back and retest it and probably just go a little below it. So I would say like 27.80 or just below. It shouldn't be a surprise. And that's all I'm going to say for now. The resistance is real obvious. It's just double top resistance around 29.40. We'll add that. I don't see us testing that for several days at least. You never know, but still. All right, silver. Oof. It was starting so well. I remember I did a video in the morning. I was like, oh, look how amazing things are. It's got a hold. Obviously, it's got a hold. But here we close back below resistance. It was such a good candle there, wasn't it? Jesus Thursday was so good. It wasn't really a total confirmation, but that Friday morning was so good. And then, the news comes out and just destroys it. So we close back on the resistance. We know the gold candle wants to go lower. Where's support? Where can we expect support? Well, first of all, I would say at least here, right? We can at least expect that low to be tested, or here, or there. I don't know why I decided to do it like that, but do you know what I mean? At least the low of this one, so 31.50. I might as well do 50-cent increments. 31.50, 31. 31.50, 31. How much of a percentage move is that from the close? Maximum 3%. Yeah, that's okay. And then we need to curl and go back up. Yeah, I think that's reasonable. There's no ascending line. No, it's not really going to do too much. I'll add it anyway for good measure. We have support on the way. I mean, we've been in an uptrend, especially in gold, so it's going to be a buy the dip asset, right? Gold and silver. The party has just been rained on, but it's very, very short term. And to be honest, we've had a nice uptrend for some time. So that's all I'm going to look at for now for gold and silver. Let's look at the miners. Oof, GDXJ, look at that, right on support. We know it's going low. Look at that, close at absolute low of day. So this probably is going to come back down here. Probably come back down here. Let's see how much of a drop that would be. Yeah, imagine silver goes down 3.5%. You can imagine GDXJ going down like 5.5. So we could go down to the next level. I don't see us like having some sideways doji day reversal. Like, it's got to come down more. Yeah, maybe gold comes down a bit more with silver 3%. We test that 27 sort of breakout zone, 27.50, 80. Maybe we do go down one more level and then we're ready for a move back up. I don't know. It could be healthy. I'm trimming on the way up. I wish I trimmed more pre-market yesterday, but not the worst case scenario. SILJ, oh my God, that is as bearishly engulfing as it gets. Open at high, close at low. I'm sorry, it's extremely rare to see like the next day we're green and with it. No, it really should come down to there. 5% SILJ. I think that's acceptable. Bit like GDXJ, SILJ. Let's check the more senior. I don't know why I start with the juniors. GDX, that makes sense. This can go. That's no longer valid. That's your resistance. Support. Well, I guess it's breakout zone roughly here. How much of a percentage move? Something like 3, 4, 5 is acceptable. Yeah, maybe that also does it. We could see that. Is there something here? It could find support just before because 5% in SILJ shouldn't be 5% GDX. But anyway, that's your most obvious level. So we've also got something there. I see something there. I don't think that's a gap. I don't know. Maybe keep it simple. You have a gap there. You could overshoot. Therefore, SILJ has to go lower. But we should keep going down that candle and imagine the other ones. We should see more downside. SIL is somehow better. You know what? I'm going to say that support is actually still here. And I know the other ones, I want them to go down 5%, but you have to admit this has held and this is a bit clearer. Look at those candles are all at 36. And this one, I don't know, can SIL hold everyone up? Probably not. But okay, these can go. These are totally obsolete. This is your resistance. That is not going to be tested for some time. That's your support. If we go low, we go here. If we go further, it's down there. So let's just move those. Use what's already constructed, whatever. That's your resistance and support. I don't see as needing to do anything else. Yeah. So I think we're still going to see more downside across the board. 3, 4, 5% in the miners, if I had to guess. And again, this is with gold coming back down to 2780-ish, which is how much of a percentage move? 2, 3%, silver a little bit more. I think it makes sense. I still think silver won't go down as much as gold, like yesterday, right? Just look at GLD SLV, for example. Down 1.5% GLD, down 0.5% SLV. Obviously, silver had a bad candle, but it was up like 2, 3%. But that's what I was saying, on the way up and on the way down, I feel like silver's going to outperform. And I'm surprised that's what happened on a day like yesterday, but it proves that I think that's also why I don't see SILJ going down too much compared to GDX. I feel like SILJ, you could go down 5%. And GDX could go down 5%. And normally you'd have like GDX down 2.5 and SILJ down 5. But I actually feel like if they all come down a bit more, they could both come down the same. So, and therefore silver is outperforming on the way down. And in case we go back up, I think on the way up too. So it's, looking for the silver linings, literally. The portfolio, Newmont, that's not bad. Like that's retesting a level that I thought existed. I guess it does now because that was the close, but it closed literally at low of day. Next level, honestly, Newmont is quite hard to call. I found it quite hard to call the levels. Maybe there's something here. Depends how much of a percentage move down that is. 3. That's enough for Newmont. You could have GDX down 5 and Newmont down 3.5. There, then I've got there, then it's at a level now. Jesus, maybe there. And I think that'll do. We're not going to go down here, are we? That's Newmont levels on the way down, nice and simple. I'm not going to bother with the yellow. It's already obvious in white. Um, that's okay actually for Newmont. That's okay. 2.5%, I'll take that. That's only 1% more than gold on the way up. Well, obviously the high we put in the double top high plus I think the other levels are correct. There you go, right? Next, Barrick Gold, which has done very well recently. That one's not correct. Well, this one was. So there's your resistance, 1850, but that doesn't matter. I don't think resistance is something to worry about for some time. Support is going to be here, clearly, I believe. And if we start to shoot lower, God, that's when it gets a bit harder. I got something here, but that's a bit too much. It just had good news. It just had good news, which means Barrick, I can't believe I'm going to say this, is one of the stocks to buy the dip on. I think it's the one that wants to go up the most because it wants to make up for its massive drop and it's just had good earnings. So Barrick is something I don't expect to go down too much, and 2.7% is okay, but like Newmont. I think that'll do for now. Agnico-Eagle, which I think it had good earnings, but it had like revenue missed or something like that. Um, so down 5%, that's not normal to see. Plus, this thing has just outperformed for ages. So this one could come back, and that candle is just absolutely ready to cascade a bit more. I was trimming near 100. That was the last sell. 7%. Oof. It would be hard to imagine 7%, but it could do it. And what a place to buy. And I don't see any other area. I mean, maybe at 90, maybe at 90. It's too obvious at breakout. I'm going to move this a little higher so that 90 is also covered. Maybe it does go to 90, from 100 to 90, right? Makes sense. It's done such a big move. Now it's ready to collapse a bit technically. Plus, it had bad news. Plus, the sector's going down and wants to come down more. We could actually go to 90. What a buy at 90 that would be. So the other levels, I don't even see another level. I mean, I don't even think they're relevant. Retest the descending breakout and da da da. Just 90, buy 90. That's all I'm going to say about Agnico. If it doesn't go to 90, then whatever. I'm going to hold what I've got. Pan America, it's like this SIL chart, bounced off its local support. Pretty good. This is now changed to, well, let's do 25. Let's do this, whatever. And the old high, obviously. Support, pretty good, still holds. And the next area is pretty obvious, it's down there. And I don't think it's gonna shoot further and like retest the descending breakout, blah blah blah. I don't see that happening. 5, 6%. I think that takes into account the next level lower in gold, silver, the miners and all that. I'll just move one of these up. I'll just say like you got to imagine how long it takes, like how many candles. So one big ugly candle, maybe it's two, we get to here. And then if it keeps going, I don't expect it to, maybe around there. I don't know. It's probably best not to have something. That's Pan America. It's okay though, right? Compared to some of the other ones, uh, down 2.5%. That's okay. To be honest, that's pretty good. So I'm happy with Pan America doing that. Next one is Wheaton. Not bad. Let's readjust the levels. That's your resistance. Your support, yeah. There. Is there anything else? I think I see something here. Otherwise, just keep it simple. This is your breakout, mini breakout. And I don't think there's any point in doing anything lower. How much of a percentage move down do we go? Yeah, okay, 1.5% to get there. That's if you have a small red day that could hold. If you have a big level drop, then it's 5%. I see a 5% move in all of them so far. In SIL, sorry, SILJ, actually all of them, GDX, GDXJ, and then all the mines I've looked at so far. I feel like there's 5% in everything. Franco Nevada, Wheaton did quite well actually. Franco Nevada, oh my God. Actually, that looks bad, but it's only 4%. This one was doing great. Yeah. What can you say? Well, this is not a level, that's for sure. Let's start with the obvious resistance, and we've got a lot of resistance just above. You got another horizontal there, and they're descending. So that's going to be, well, it's going to take some time already to get back to test here because the whole sector needs to recover. That'll take, like I said, several days. Once it breaks out of here, and it could take, yeah, if you think about it, once we imagine we're coming back to retest this, that makes the whole resistance even lower. It'll probably end up being like there. It'll be all of the resistance like triangulating at the same point. But anyway, it's about support. First support, yes, is here, right? That's your mini breakout. After, it's good that I leave these lines in. We're not going to go this slow, so I'll take these. After I've got something there, there's like some pre-gap. I'll move it a bit lower. Pre-gap fill, post-gap fill. I already want to stop there. I don't see it going lower. This is probably wrong at that point. How much of a percentage move from where we are closed at low of day? Not great. Yeah, that's probably not going to hold. So 3.5%. And there's your like 4, 5%. Maybe gap fill is possible. So I'll add one more level. There you are. That's Franco Nevada, Metalla. That's not too bad. I know it's still 4.5%. Well, yeah, look, this is a level, right? I was talking about 320 the whole time. Not gonna celebrate till we get to 320. We screamed right through it, which means the level's not as relevant as I thought, but maybe it is in terms of support. I'm gonna leave it there in case I'm right. Uh, so this yellow thing can stay there, and you can see these two candles. You know what? I'm gonna drop it just a little bit, like that. Yeah, 319, 320. If that fails, ay, 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 maybe it's more than 5% to the next level. See, there you're already at, wow. I mean, here you got some candles like coalescing there. Oh, Jesus. I don't know actually where. I've got something there, but that's too much of a move. Metalla, when it goes down, it goes down. I'll put something there, but that's not enough. I mean, I'm almost desperately looking for any excuse to put a level. I'm gonna put these, but I think here you just have to look at, you know, the metals, the GDX. There's something here too, but that's too far away. That's all I'm gonna do in terms of support. I don't know where it's gonna end up. This one is harder to call. There's your resistance. The resistance is easier. Next one is now we're looking at the silver stocks. First Majestic, son of an absolute bitch, this one. Yeah, well, makes sense. Hit the support perfectly. Um, oh God. I mean, it was weak before. You get a day like that. To be honest, it wasn't down as bad as Hecla. We'll get to Hecla. So this one, if we go down another level, Jesus, we're just gonna have to go there, aren't we? Obviously, we're gonna go test this low. I mean, already it's holding 540, but if we have another 5% drop in the sector with gold going down to retest breakout, you're not allowed to just stand still. You're gonna have to go down and look another 5%. 515 is your level. I can't believe it, but I have to cover more than 5% in case it's worse than I expect. And there's only one obvious level, and that's 460. Unless somehow $5 becomes some psychological level. I mean, maybe, maybe you shoot below 515, you're like, oh my God, here we go. And then boom at 496 and you're just going crazy, and then it just reverses. And what it was doing was testing $5 basically. And then it has like a strong reversal, then the sector reverses, and you basically end up closing at 517. And you have one of those candles where, at the low of day, you just think, oh shit, here we go, down to 460, but actually it becomes quite a nice bullish candle, and then you find out that that was the reversal, and now it's ready to reverse, hopefully the sector too. And then First Majestic starts to look like a great buy, like the low is in. I always look at it that way, a bit positive. So when it's low of day moment, just relax. It could end up being the best period to enter, but who wants to enter when it looks like that? So anyway, these are the levels I'm going to look at. Just these three. I'm not going to start looking below 460. Let's not be ridiculous. There are levels. They're obvious. They're here. Resistance, no point in looking at that up here. But actually, the first thing you have to crack is this level here. But we're far from that. Couldn't even do it yesterday. All right, that's First Majestic. That might be the worst one out the way. I know Hecla looks bad, but Hecla at least was in a slight uptrend. Fortuna, that's cool. That makes sense. Interesting. It went higher at the open. You don't get many that did that. The open was usually the high, so here actually went up. And 550 is clear resistance, so I'd no need to readjust that. This is no longer resistance at all. This is support. It closed on support, but the descending, I almost want to, I mean, the retest of the descending is just too close. If we have a move down, it's going to go through it like butter. It's not going to be 2%. I feel like deleting it and just having the horizontals left. I'll leave it, but if we have a big drop, then I'll just delete it that same day. Basically, your level is going to be here. Yeah, 6%. It's a bit much. And I feel like Fortuna is still a bit strong relative to others. So if the others are going 5%, I'll leave it. I don't see any other support. I mean, what, the low of this candle? Not really. I'll leave it. So there's your, what is that? It's ridiculous. There's your support. If we go lower, which you could do the gap fill. So it's pre-gap fill, post-gap fill, whatever. Just add this here. And your resistance is going to be, well, we know what it is. It's this 550 level, if I can bring this down. But again, resistance is irrelevant for some days. That's it, Fortuna. Next one, CDE. I think the merger has happened, right? Because my Silvercrest tickers went blank, so I disappeared it. I binned it. Um, well, this is pretty obvious. Maybe it was really there actually. Yeah, that's more accurate. 650 pretty much, isn't it? So 650 remains support, but it closed not at low of day. Maybe 650 can hold, but again, if everything's going to drop 5%, then we go down here. And now the merge is in 8%. And what if you have those? When was earnings? Monday or something? Or did we just have it? Jesus, I don't even know. Well, if there's another move down, it's going to be there. And I think 8% is sufficient. To be honest, if everything goes down 5%, CDE could do 8. CDE is always a bit of a magnifier of the moves. The next move would be down here, probably higher than that because 8% was already is quite a bit. And I don't think there's any point in looking at anything lower. There's your resistance. Honestly, I'm a friend of CDE. I understand the move. There's some ascending support. You never know. If 8, well, I won't bother. It's obvious. I don't know if that will hold. Next one is Hecla. Yeah. So that had bad earnings, I believe. That's a pretty ugly candle, isn't it? There's nothing funny about it. All right, so already these are totally irrelevant. The resistance is now the new high. Let's call it 640. These are all gone. I mean, this just blew through. Wait a minute. I think there's a bit like CDE, the ascending. Yeah, you could say there's something there. Well, there is. It close, I guess. So the ascending is doing something, I think. But that kind of candle, and if the whole sector goes down another 5% after bad news, we're just going to go low. And there's only one real level of support, and it's the low from this whole period. Ooh, 10%. Maybe, maybe, or maybe it just does here, $5, 8%. I'm going to put double little tram lines here. I feel like, well, first of all, there is a level. Second of all, it's psychological. And third of all, we will already have made a map. We've done a huge move here. And if we go down another 5%, this in the whole sector, we go down even more in this one. I think that's enough. You know, 2 times 8%. I mean, we're at 22% in 2 or 3 days by then. So I think if you want to buy at 480, you're probably going to miss it. So I'm going to put $5 as the next level. This I would buy. I don't care how bad the news is. It doesn't matter all that. I mean, we've seen worse. Resistance, forget that. We're not testing that in a long time, like 2, 3 weeks probably. Um, that's it. I don't think there's any point in looking lower. Forget resistance, and the only support is where it is now. But if the sector drops, it goes lower. All right. Ah, God damn it, I should have trimmed more of that pre-market or something. EXK, to be honest, that looks okay. It's not gone lower than all the other candles, and a lot of them have. And it's been a bit weak compared to others. So down 3.5%. That's all right, especially after looking at Hecla. There's no ascending, no descending. It's just the levels. This horizontal is irrelevant. That's your resistance. That's your support. How much of a drop do you go to test that support? That's nothing. Post gap fill, that's something. It can fill the gap, and it's that 5% move. And if you go lower, then you go lower. But I don't see that happening. So for me, it's the gap fill. 1, 2, 3. That's all you got to look at. Resistance again. Oh, that could be one of the first ones to break resistance, actually. Not that far away. That's EXK. Mag, pretty good. Just keeping even the higher lows and didn't close at low of day. And the resistance remains correct. If we go lower, then that's okay, you know. There's your 5%, or maybe it fills the gap. So maybe you got a gap fill, maybe it's even before. I'll just actually this one can take care of both. If there's another level drop, it's there. Yes, that's irrelevant. That we don't need. There you go. This whole like gap fill before and just after is like 2 small levels. I think that's it. It looks okay. Next, I think we're done with the silver fox. Thank God. Aris mining. Nice. There's your real resistance. That's for sure. On the way down, I've only got ascending. I mean, is that a level? No, I keep it simple. This one I give some room, especially with the lack of liquidity and spread sometimes. How much of a drop is that from the close? 8%, so be it. There you go, that's all. Resistance is there. If it breaks out, you got the descending, but I think the ascending is the only one. Otherwise, you know, in case we lose the ascending, there'll be this, but I think 8% is sufficient. That's it for Aris mining. I am gold. It's not too bad. It's not even 3.5%. It's just holding this level. There are a few that are just on support, but then If you look at the ETF, it's got a 5% drop. So I'm pretty sure I Am Gold will lose this. I think it will lose that. It'll come back down here, 6, 7%. Fine by me. I mean, I accept that that is very likely. I prefer it not to happen. Let's call it 590, just below 6. Maybe it's 6. Yeah, that's it. I don't think I mean, what's the next level after that? What's the next level after that? What have we got here? No. Ascending. No. Maybe. No, it's a bit weak. We need more pivot points. This one, it's too far away. Not yet. Keep the horizontal. Maybe there's something here. 1, 2, 3. I don't know. This could be wrong. I'm just throwing it in there. But that's it, right? And there's your resistance, obviously. Okay, B2 gold. It's not that bad at all, especially compared to the others. I think resistance is still here. Obviously, you still need to take its recent high of 262. This I'll leave. That's obvious support. If we go lower, it just feels a bit resilient now. You know, it's just had that bad news and it didn't go down much. I don't see it going down much. I'm not going to put support anywhere. I feel like that would be strong support, and this is strong support. You've almost got this ascending, tight ascending, but you know, it'll lose that on the first drop day. I don't know. I just hold. B2 gold, honestly, is just hold through all disasters. Equinox, look at that. It's keeping its higher lows. That's pretty impressive. That's pretty impressive. Very tight too. It's destined to collapse more. I think it needs to come down to its old breakout, right? Still didn't test it. So if we have a drop in gold, so I still think it's going to happen 650. How much of a drop from where we are? 3, 4. I could overshoot, go to 640. I think that's cool. That's healthy. It's almost worth it. Resistance remains where it is. We can lift it up a little bit more now. That's it. The ascending, the resistance, the drop. If it goes down even more and we're all shocked, it's going to find support around there, I think. It's $6. Yeah, why not? Around $6, maybe just before. Just before, because the move will be too exaggerated, right? How much of a, yeah, 11%, forget it. And it's a strong stock, so I'll leave it there. And I can almost delete these. These are all obsolete. Never going down there again. Too strong. Next, SSRM. I need to stop following SSRM. I don't even own it. Honestly, that's pretty good. So I'm out since 949. Resistance seems to be 940 more now. That's small support. It'll probably come down here. I don't know if you guys still own it, but it's quite resilient still. So not the worst. Oh, whatever, I'll delete that. There you go. Resistance is there. Support is there. Next support is there. And after that, don't know. I don't think it's going to go lower than that, at least not for now. Finally, SBSW. All right, this is now just the horizontal technicals that we should count on. There's another level of resistance. It's obviously the recent high at 410, 409. The support, ooh, I guess that's still support because even though we ventured lower, we opened there. It's all about the open and the close. 380, I think, remains, and maybe we have an ascending that we can count on in case we lose. And it's like a small gap fill too. So maybe you got something at 360. This one is just a buy. It's like a B2 gold. You just buy and hold. I already own it. So yeah, you don't want it to go too low. I will add this one in just in case we absolutely collapse. We'll see. It's okay. I don't care too much. It's one of my lightest holdings, especially when it's down here at this low value. All right. So we all got our assets kicked. It wasn't my worst day. Um, because I'm spread nicely. I've been trimming on the way up and my count is still pretty good. But when I look at these percentage moves, it does look pretty bad, especially Hecla. But if you remove Hecla, it's like it's okay, you know, there's 1, 2, 3. Well, no, not really one, like 2, 3, 4% moves, one or two fives, but that's it. And I don't know, it wasn't that bad for me. actually. It was like one bad day, but I've had several up days where I made more than today. So my account is just one good day away from new all-time highs. I was at new all-time highs yesterday, so actually, especially pre-market. So, but it's about what happens next, and I do think we go down another 5% in the sector. But then we will have to enter the correct places, and I like, can't believe I'm saying this, Barrick Gold, Hecla will be good when you really give it some time. You may need like 3 day rule, let it settle for 2, 3 days. Newmont looks strong. Agnico at 90. Mm, CDE maybe would be a good bounce play. Just thinking off the top of my head. Mag Silver looks quite strong. Pan America looks strong. They look like they could definitely go up and make break out and make new highs. Yeah. But and I think also this is irrelevant, but Alibaba, I've been in Alibaba, I've made a hell of a lot there. So that's helped me cushion the blow. Even yesterday it was up. So my other stocks are okay. All right, look, that'll do. Let's see. It wasn't great, but you can't have an amazing day each day. So you get humbled. The kick of reality is good for you. And to be honest, it wasn't that not that bad for me. So I look forward to next week selling pops and buying dips. All right, have a good weekend.